Hey, it's Willie Armellini from Flowers and Scents with your industry buzz. Today we're going to interview John Henderson. John Henderson is the president of Floral Computer Systems, which is a software company that specializes in, obviously, floral. And John is a longtime advertiser on Flowers and Scents. So without further ado, John Henderson. Welcome, John Henderson. Welcome to Flowers and Scents.
Thank you. It's nice to be at Flowers and Scents.
Well, you and I have a little bit of history together. So you're the president of Floral Computer Systems.
That's correct.
And, you've been around for a while. So let's talk about this a little bit. How'd you end up in the flower business anyway?
Well, it was very interesting. I just got out of college and working with IBM. And back in the earlier days, they were trying to sell equipment. So I was asked out of about a dozen different guys if I would be willing to head up a new project. And I was very fortunate because it had to do with the floral industry. In fact, in Miami, Continental Farms had put in a new computer systems or wanted to put in a new computer systems. I had the good fortune of working with, I want to kind of call them legends like Rick Perello, Jimmy Teeper,
Larry
Hopkins.
Yep.
I mean, it was amazing. And we actually, together as a team, developed the first system for Floral Computer Systems and Continental Farms.
Interesting. Well, that's a good history because we know those people well. And then, you and I crossed paths at Superior when Rick had Superior.
Yep.
And that's been sort of how we found out about each other a little bit. And that's back when people were actually using these mainframe IBM computers, and you needed software people to figure out how to make them work.
Many computers. It was almost just prior to PCs. So there's a lot of history. There was a lot of engineering involved in terms of designs and how the floral industry worked, which was my first task that I was assigned is how does this industry work? And that has been the foundation of where we are today.
I think some people are still using some of those computers, if not trying to get off those mainframes, but they're not easy to get off of.
Well, that's because there's so much committed to it. I mean, there's a major asset there, and it's not easy to move off of it. And we're currently working in the cloud as well as servers in the office. So it's not something that we're stuck in. We've just basically have moved forward, migrated, improved the software. The software is very modern. It's current design, standard Microsoft programming in terms of databases and things of that nature. So we've tried to avoid any of this proprietary stuff that would actually cause complications and somebody makes a change. I mean, it's bad enough when we got Microsoft giving us updates once in a while, but at least we have a more stable environment.
Well, we have certainly come a long way since those mainframe days because they were certainly challenging, and we were forced to go into this sort of cloud now cloud-based.
Yep.
Which is interesting. I'm doing the same. It just makes total sense, and it's fast and efficient and nimble, I guess is the right word. You can adapt quickly to changes, and when a customer wants a new widget or a new way to calculate something, it's not so difficult to have to drag out miles and miles of code to make it work.
That's correct. It's a much more flexible environment to work in.
So, John, who's your audience? Who uses your software?
We have about 14 growers out in California that use the software, and they're part of the distribution the distribution for the floral industry. The wholesalers, we've got about 70 different wholesalers throughout the United States and Canada. So we have a very broad audience. The majority of it is in the wholesale area. And one of our specialties, there's been many specialties that we've developed over the years, but we're able to get into the nitty gritty in terms of the wholesale operation, tell them what the landed cost is of every stem that they bring into the office, gives them a chance to look at their margins before they actually start going out and selling them. And by all these very basic things, we've been able to come up with a very efficient solution for the business. And as you know, the floral industry is not the standard by any means. And we've been able to adapt, adjust, make a lot of different configurations in terms of how someone wants to operate their business, including the integration with Armellini, Prime Floral, things of that nature.
Hmm. Yeah, well, the flower business is complicated because it's perishable. I think that's probably the main complication we have, or main challenge, if you will, because things have to move quickly. They've got to be brought in and sold and marked up and expedited and getting out of the building quickly.
Absolutely. And the speed is the number one enemy of perishable products. So, we start basically with a cloud environment. We have a fully integrated websites. In fact, we have 3 basic websites that we work with. That allows many of our customers during this COVID period to actually be out there and continually making money and income because they can sell their products right over the internet. There's obviously stresses and strains in terms of the business operation itself, but today you cannot operate. I don't see one operating successfully without a good web platform to work from. E-commerce, we're fully integrated with what's on hand inventory, what the galleries are, pictures, we can actually do pre-books for advanced orders on the web, as well as many other nice idiosyncrasies that the industry has.
So it is an e-commerce solution. So somebody that using your software is able to sell their product from the software,
Absolutely,
from the website, I guess.
Absolutely. And we also have additional add-ons to that. For example, we can actually create orders just with a handheld scanner. If you're in a warehouse type environment, we have something called Mobile on the Move, which is a fantastic product. It'll run on any tablet, and you could be anywhere in the world and actually create a sales order right there in the office of your customers. And it will actually log the order into our main system, send them an invoice, and even ask for their signature if you want to put it on there.
All right. Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is sort of there's a lot of software companies out there that are applying in the floral business, and sort of wanting to know maybe how you fit in. I mean, I have 2 advertisers that are software companies, Comet and Detail Flowers. Mm-hmm. And how do you fit in with them, or do you work with them at any level, or are you familiar with them? I know you're familiar with them, but
obviously I have to be familiar with them. I've got great respect for Alejandro and Comet. I mean, he's done a great job. He's really taken a lot of the import side of the business and just made it exactly the way it needs to be. We can provide the import on the import side as well. We were originally, based upon that type of structure, but we've drifted towards the wholesaler more, the grower and the wholesaler, that relationship there between the 2 of them, for a number of reasons. I think the most important thing is our staff. We have a staff that knows the floral industry. Boy, there's nothing more important than that. If you've ever gone out and talked to anybody about software and tried to have them figure out how to handle, units of measure and things of that nature, it's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, I've sort of been in some of those discussions, and everybody comes in and says, I got the solution here. Right here it is. This is it. And then once you explain to them the business, how the flowers are actually sold, and they come in a box that has to get broken down into units and measures and bunches, and there's a lot of detail to it that the average Quicken Loan or QuickBooks is not going to cut it.
No. And one of the advantages we have over Comet is the fact that we actually order in our purchasing system. It's a single entry system, so you don't have to do multiple entries. You order by box or bucket, and you can break it down to selling by stems. It's all automatic. It's just a matter of a click of a button. And that is the key component, in my opinion, of the wholesale marketplace, where you're basically selling by stem or bunch, but you have to order by box or larger quantities. So we take all that into consideration. We calculate the actual freight of the product as part of the purchase order. So we know what the vendor's cost is going to be. We know what the freight cost. We can actually give you a landed margin right before you even buy the product.
Yeah, that breaking bulk is sort of been a theme of mine, because people in the business, this is maybe a little bit of a side note, but I mean, the fact that you can send a box from Colombia all the way to a retailer or a consumer for that matter, I guess, at this point. The question is, why? And does it make sense? You have to buy a whole box, or it doesn't really make sense to put one box on an airway bill and have it cleared and everything else. It doesn't make any sense. So there's a lot of ways to cut this, but the reality is somewhere along the line, somebody's got to break the box down or the pallet down or the jet pallet down. It's all a matter of breaking bulk.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and that streamlines the business. One of the key things is basically we have the software has been designed to be more efficient from a business system standpoint, and that's really the key. So with all the years of experience that I've had, and my team has had many years of experience as well, we've been able to go ahead and make these transitions. Our base product is called the Smart System. And the reason it's smart is because we have over 325 different forms of configuring the system to cover everything from the way you want to have your staff to see, whether you want your sales staff to see margins versus being able to organize the pick tickets in such a way that it fits your operation.
Okay. And let's see here. I was going to ask you about social media. Are you doing anything with social media with helping these growers and or wholesalers or your customers?
Well, from a social media standpoint, we basically have been very limited in terms of Facebook and things of that nature. We do provide, I actually put out every week what I call John's Journals or John's Gems. And we basically let our customers know what changes are taking place, how to use certain features, and all that is basically orchestrated from us internally so that we can manage the information properly and not let it get distorted.
Well, that is important. I mean, this Instagram, for example, people have called me up and said, "Man, you should be on Instagram. Why aren't you on Instagram?" And I'm like, well, I'm sort of stuck, perhaps because showing my age, maybe, I don't know. I'm sort of stuck with these laptops and or hardware desktop computers. And the move to these things is a whole different world, really. It's
Yes, it is.
different technology in many cases. They don't talk to each other. And when I go to Instagram and see, tons of flowers, it's interesting to me, but I'm not a florist. So to see, to see 100 different designs or 100 different, opportunities there, I'm like, okay, it doesn't mean enough to me. So, but again, I'm not knocking it. It's just saying that everybody has their little niche in the business.
Yes.
And you got to see where you fit in.
Yes. And the key in terms of fitting in is basically, I think the most important strength we have is we have a very good support team. We are there working with our customers. This is a product that we produce in terms of having a good trained staff and being able to help the customers get over different hurdles. As you know, in this business, things are changing all the time. Somebody's down, the internet connection's down, whatever it is, we're there to help them. And even though social media is very important, we're very specialized. We give very personalized service to our customers. It's not like we're trying to go out and get 10,000, software companies or companies to buy our software, because we provide a lot of good support that goes along with it. Now, it's not necessary to have the support, but it's there for you because most people do not have an IT staff, and we end up being their IT staff.
John, do you have a back office solution, or in terms of accounting and stuff?
What we've done is, this was a business decision that I made. Is it's a very interesting environment in terms of accounting. I'd say 80% of our customers use QuickBooks. So for me to try to go into competition with QuickBooks that puts billions of dollars into their software every year, I can't do that. I mean, it's just not within my grasp. We work with Sage Software, another huge company in terms of being able to provide fantastic software. We work with very key people in the industry. We work with accountants and that in order to help their customers get up and running. So the 2 or 3 or 4 different key accounting systems is what we interface with. So we process our daily activity. Our system is standalone. It can run on a PC, it can run on a laptop, it can run on a server, it can run on the cloud. So we've got you covered. We basically do nightly backups in the cloud so that you're covered in case something goes wrong. We can get you up and running within an hour. So we have fantastic support in that area, and getting the customer being able to work with this so smoothly is a good solution.
So your system basically will hand off the data to the QuickBooks and those programs you mentioned. It'll just hand off the data, and then then it gets in their system.
That's correct. We hand it off, and it's basically in a controlled and audited situation. So you have audit controls on everything that we do, but let them do the accounting, because the accounting today has a lot of other factors involved in terms of banking and things like that. Our job is to basically handle the basic operations. That's the key. And then we get information back from the accounting system so we can do credit checking and things of that nature. So we have this interaction with the accounting systems as if it was just a part of our system.
Yeah, I think that's prudent. People that try to build back office systems generally fail.
Yeah.
It's too much. And everybody, pretty much everybody's starting with something. All your customers, your potential customers, when they come to you, they have some sort of back office system.
That's right.
So feeding off giving that system the data makes much more sense than you trying to create that.
Yeah, besides that, like most people are involved with QuickBooks. So we can take the QuickBooks customers and vendors and inventory items and actually create the database for our system. So it's very little work on the customer's part to get this up and running.
One of the things, one of the obstacles in that business, and I was dabbling in that business way back when with Floorplex days and stuff, was the mapping. Trying to map my 50 centimeter freedom is called 50F. And yours is 50 CMF or something. So everybody's got a little different version of what they call that particular product.
That's correct. And what we do is the majority of our customers use a name lookup for their products in terms of sales. So we kind of eliminate a lot of that stuff, but we actually have some mapping that can be done in terms of the different systems that we interface with. And you can have your own internal, like for example, with a vendor, we can actually send them the manufacturer's ID or the vendor's primary vendor number, whatever it may be, or the local number. So we have this all structured so they can be identified based upon who you're ordering from. Okay,
so as I told you, 20 minutes goes really fast when you start talking here when you do these things. So I have two questions. So first question, I guess, is I think I know the answer. They find you by going to floralcomputer.com, correct?
Very good. Thank you very much. That's correct.
Okay, I'll post that up on the screen.
Thank you.
And as a result of this interview, sort of what would you like to, an action for potential customers? Give you a call, obviously, but how do you see this?
Well, I'd like to see this as being an opportunity to let people know what we do. I mean, in business, you need to be able to promote your product. You need to be able to promote yourself, because that's the name of the game. There's so much out there that people get overwhelmed with. We have a great client base. We have great references. And the importance here is the fact that we have a team that knows the business. So we can work with you to solve the problems that you have. Not every business is exactly the same. It may seem that way, but as you know from your experience, everybody's a little bit different. So my objective here is basically let people know who we are. We want to help you. We want to basically be able to make your business more profitable, because that's in turn will help us long term as well. So that's the goal.
And yeah, and in this day and age of COVID and all these restrictions that we have and challenges, being online and having your product online and your presence online is more important than ever, as we know.
Yes, it is. No question about that.
Okay, well, my friend John Henderson, thank you for this time, and I will get this back to you, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, they will hit that phone and that email.
Sounds
or
good. Should I leave a phone number to call?
Sure, why not?
Okay, we're in the Tampa Bay area, so it's area code 727-483-5313 is my personal number. You're welcome to call me anytime. I'm always willing to answer your call and be able to help you with whatever you need.
All right, well, hopefully we can get the phone to ring and some action on your website. So thank you for this opportunity and for showing up here. So have a great day.
Thank you.
My pleasure.